What if the dead won't stay silent, and the phone keeps ringing, even when it's been broken for years? Gwen can hear the dead through a phone that shouldn't work. Her brother fights ghosts with his fists. And deep in the snow-covered woods of Alpine Lake, a killer who died years ago is still hunting. This isn't just a nightmare, it's happening right now. The movie starts with Gwen standing alone inside a phone booth. She's using her psychic ability, trying to reach out to a spirit on the other side. Just as she's about to figure out something important about a dream she just had, the call suddenly cuts off. Totally freaked out, she bolts back inside the house, trembling all over. Cut to North Denver, 1982. A bunch of kids are gathered around watching Finney go after another kid in a fight. Gwen rushes over to break it up, but Finney won't back down. Later, she begs her brother to stop fighting the kids who keep making fun of him about what happened with the grabber. But Finney says no. He tells her that fighting is the only way he knows how to deal with the pain. A little while later, Robin's brother Ernesto drives by and invites them to some event that night. Gwen says yes right away, flashing a big smile that makes it obvious she's totally into him. That evening, Finney steps outside for some fresh air, but the quiet brings back awful memories of the grabber. To shut it all out, he turns to drugs, anything to make the nightmares stop. The hallucinations hit him hard. For just a second, he even swears he sees the grabber standing right in front of him. But it's not real, somewhere else. A group of kids on vacation at Alpine Lake are laughing and playing in the snow, until a man with a gun suddenly shows up and starts chasing one of them. The kid gets murdered. The killer carves a message under the ice. Back home, Gwen jolts awake from another nightmare. Then she hears a phone ringing nearby. She gets up to answer it, but realizes the sound isn't coming from inside the house. Finn snaps her out of her daze and leads her back inside. As she tries to explain the terrifying dream, Finn just shrugs it off, saying it's probably nothing. The next day at school, Gwen gets picked on. Some girls call her a witch and laugh at her. But then Ernesto steps in, cheers her up, and hands her movie tickets for their date. He also gives her some little spiritual charms he says might help her see what others can't. Later that afternoon, Finney stops by a convenience store. The payphone outside starts ringing. He picks it up, says he can't help, and hangs up. What he doesn't know? That phone hasn't worked in years. That night, a group of kids are hanging out around a bonfire after playing in the snow. One boy walks off to pee. The grabber ambushes him, kills him with an axe, and later burns his body. The boy's charred spirit rises from under the frozen lake and leaves another mysterious message for Gwen. She wakes up gasping, the sound of a phone ringing in her ears again. Determined to find where it's coming from, she goes outside. But instead of a phone, she finds the burned body of the boy lying right in front of her. Terrified, she sneaks into the grabber's old abandoned house. When she answers, she hears the voice of one of the victims, Hope Andler. He tells her how he was killed at Alpine Lake and warns her that the grabber is still alive. The call cuts out. Gwen turns around and freezes. Standing there is the grabber's dead brother. Then the front door creaks open behind them, and footsteps start coming down the stairs. Suddenly, the phone starts ringing like crazy. Then the scene shifts. Gwen's back with Finney, who explains she was sleepwalking. Still totally disoriented, she tries to make sense of what just happened, and tells Finn she spoke to their mom through the phone again. He brushes it off, refusing to believe her. As they get ready to leave, Finn notices weird symbols carved into the wall. Gwen points out that parts of her dreams are now actually happening in real life. She insists they have to go to the youth camp she saw in her vision. But Finn refuses. Their dad overhears and chimes in, revealing that their mom actually used to work at that very camp before he met her. Gwen tries to explain her dream. He agrees to take a job there. After packing up, they head out for the camp. But as they drive, thick fog rolls in, so Ernesto pulls over, and Finn steps out to check the road ahead. They finally reach a tiny, isolated settlement. A man greets them and says the camp's been canceled because of the bad weather, and they're the only three who even made it this far. As they follow him inside, Finn spots a phone booth nearby. Just seeing it gives him chills. Inside, the man shows them to their rooms. Since Ernesto isn't an official counselor, he's told to stay in a different cabin across the road. That night, Gwen has another nightmare. This time, she's standing on the frozen lake, surrounded by the ghosts of dead kids. Meanwhile, Finn steps out for a smoke and hears a phone ringing across the road. He walks toward the booth, but the lights go out before he gets there. At the exact same moment, Gwen wakes up startled. The phone starts ringing again. Finn answers and pleads with whoever's on the line, saying he can't help them. Then the lights flicker and go out again. Back in her cabin, Gwen hears something moving under her bed. She looks, and a dead body stares right back at her. At the same time, Finn realizes the voice on the phone is the grabber's. Before he can react, the booth locks itself from the inside. Panic sets in. Gwen is suddenly attacked by the angry spirits of the murdered boys, closing in on her from all sides. While the grabber tells Finn there's no way out this time, Gwen's about to lose it completely, until the booth suddenly unlocks. Finn runs to her, pulls her out of the trance, and holds her tight, hiding his own fear so she'll feel safe. They leave their cabin and take shelter in Ernesto's, thinking it's safer there. Gwen tells Ernesto about her nightmare, and he offers to let her sleep next to him for comfort. Morning finally comes, giving them a little peace, but the calm doesn't last. Finn notices that the scratches and bruises Gwen got in her dream are actually on her body for real. At breakfast, the camp organizer, Armando, introduces them to his niece, Mustang, a girl who instantly catches Finn's eye. Armando explains that only 4 staff members are left at Alpine Lake, and they're all leaving in 2 days. Curious, he asks why Gwen and Finn came, since neither of them ever went to the camp before. Gwen says their late mom somehow led them there, and even shows him a photo of her. Armando goes completely still. He remembers her clearly, calls her a true light. He tells them to meet him outside after breakfast. Finn stops him and asks about the old payphone near their cabin. Armando says it's been broken for years. Finn tells him what happened the night before. But before anyone can react, the phone suddenly rings again. Finn decides to check it out, while the others try to call for help. But when he picks up, it's one of the dead boys on the line. As Finn listens, the ghosts of all the murdered kids appear right in front of him, pounding on the glass, begging him to help them. Back home, their dad Terrence is glued to the TV, watching news about the massive storm hitting Alpine Lake. He grabs the phone to call his kids. Night has already fallen at the camp. Gwen's asleep again, but she's pulled into another nightmare. This time, she sees her mom standing inside a familiar phone booth. One of the dead kids appears and whispers, "You're not supposed to be here." Before running off, Gwen chases after him. One by one, more ghost kids show up, leading her deeper into the mist, until she reaches the exact spot where the grabber killed them all. She wakes up with a start and sees a woman in white standing in her doorway. Almost instantly, the old phone outside starts ringing again, like she's being pulled by something she can't see. Gwen follows one of the spirit boys into the woods. Back at the cabin, Finn and Ernesto argue about whether to answer the phone. Ernesto finally decides to go look for Gwen, while Finn heads out alone toward the booth. Finn steps into the booth, shuts the door, and says out loud, "I'm not scared of you." On the other end, the grabber's creepy voice laughs and says he'll never really escape, and that their game is far from over. Inside the cabin, Gwen wanders into the dining room, still following the ghost kid. Ernesto realizes she's gone, wakes up the other 4 staff members, and tells them Gwen's missing. Meanwhile, Gwen's chase leads her into a dark storage room. The second she steps in, and then he appears. The grabber. Gwen fights back hard, but he's way too strong. Her screams echo through the camp, bringing everyone running. When they burst in, they see Gwen being thrown across the room, like some invisible force is tossing her around. Finn sprints toward the chaos, just as the grabber tries to shove her into a burning furnace. Ernesto grabs her and holds on tight, while forks, knives, and everything else in the room starts flying at them. The moment Finn arrives, the grabber lets go, as if that's exactly what he wanted. Shaken and terrified, they all run to a nearby church for safety. There, Armando tries to make sense of everything. Gwen shows him the strange marks the dead kids left for her. That's when Armando finally gets it. Finn and Gwen are the same siblings who beat the grabber years ago. He pulls out an old photo album of past camp visitors. Finn's eyes widen. He recognizes one of the faces. The grabber wasn't just some random killer. He was a kid who once came to this very camp. Armando remembers his name, Wild Bill Hick WB. That's the name the ghost kids have been carving into the ice all along. Gwen puts it together. This is where it all started. The place of the grabber's first murders. When Finn killed him years ago, his angry spirit came back here, feeding off the trapped souls of his victims. She says the only way to end this is to find the kids' bodies and give them a proper burial. Armando agrees. They'll start searching at dawn. Later that night, Armando sits alone in his office, listening to the storm outside. A soft noise catches his attention. Then the power goes out. He turns on his flashlight. The grabber's bloody face is smeared across the window. At sunrise, they all head into the forest to search the frozen lake. They spend hours looking, but daylight disappears fast. Back in the cabin that night, Gwen falls into another nightmare. But this one's different. Her mom is trapped in it too. Hope, one of the spirits, wakes up, sensing something's wrong. As Gwen stirs, Ernesto gently pushes her back down to rest. But he doesn't realize her spirit has already left her body and entered Hope's world. There, Gwen watches her mom walking out of a room with sheets in her arms. She follows her and sees her mom heading straight to the grabber's house. Through the window, Gwen sees the grabber forcing a terrified kid into his van. Her mom tries to stop him, but he grabs her instead and shoves her inside. A moment later, he comes back out. He practically dares her. "Go ahead, come save your mom." Gwen runs after him into the dark. The door slams shut behind her. Inside, she's face to face with two versions of the grabber and the psychics who could see him. They end up in a place that chills Gwen to the bone, the exact spot where she was killed years ago. The truth hits her like a punch. Everyone thought she'd killed herself, but the grabber murdered her. She watches helplessly as her dad finds her body. Then the grabber shows up again, axe in hand, and gives her a head start before hunting her like prey. She runs into his basement, where the old phone starts ringing loudly. Her mom's voice tells her to hide. Gwen ducks behind a wall, but she hears his footsteps getting closer. His belt dragging, the axe glinting in the dark. He corners her and swings. The blow lands, and back in the real world, the same injuries appear on Gwen's body. Ernesto shakes her, begging her to wake up, but she's trapped deep in the vision. Then, miraculously, the freezer door creaks open, and one of the dead boys leads her out. Suddenly, she's standing on the frozen lake. Armando's there, desperately melting the ice to recover a boy's body. And he succeeds. As Gwen fights to come back to herself, she hears the phone ringing again. The grabber's voice taunts her, while in the real world, he appears next to Armando, digging into the ice for something evil. By the time Gwen realizes what he's doing, it's too late. The grabber shoves Armando into the icy water and holds him under with his boot. Then he turns to Gwen, smashes the phone booth glass, and wraps the cord around her neck, strangling her. The wire cuts into her skin until she collapses. Her friends scream for her to fight back, and she does. In a flash of psychic power, Gwen blows up the entire booth. She rises from the wreckage, marches toward the grabber, headbutts him, and unleashes everything she's got. She wakes up gasping. The group rushes to the lake and pulls Armando out, barely alive, but breathing. Moments later, headlights cut through the snow. Terrence has arrived with a truck to clear the road and take his kids home. Finn's over the moon, ready to leave this nightmare behind. But Gwen says no. Their work isn't done. Their mom didn't kill herself. The grabber murdered her and faked the suicide. Terrence listens, and hearing his daughter describe the exact pain he felt that day, he finally believes her. The next morning, they go back to the lake, knowing the grabber's power won't truly die until all the lost kids are found. Hours pass with no luck. Exhausted, Gwen slips into another trance. She sees herself lying still as the others try to wake her. Then, horror. The grabber comes skating across the ice. Kenneth is the first to fall. Killed instantly. Under the ice, Gwen's spirit works frantically, pushing the frozen bodies of the children up toward the surface. On the ice above, the grabber corners Finn, just like the night he originally died. Terrence dives in to help, and Finn fights with everything he's got. Recovering one boy's body weakens the grabber, just enough for Finn to shove him back. But the killer isn't done. As he lunges again, two more spirits rise from the lake and grab him. Then the three dead boys appear, and Gwen delivers the final blow, driving an axe straight into his skull. Finn rips off the grabber's mask and smashes his face into the ice until it shatters. Gwen cuts off his leg so he can't run, and together, they throw his broken body into the lake. The children's spirits drag him down, deeper and deeper, until the water swallows him whole. Gwen's spirit returns to her body, and she wakes up to Armando's face. She kisses him. As they get ready to leave Alpine Lake, the phone rings one last time. Gwen hesitates, then picks it up. On the other end, she hears Hope Andler and her mom's voice. The line goes quiet, and with that, this story comes to an end. How did you like this explanation? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Movies, Plots, Recaps.